Hey, another day of dev stuff. Yeah, gonna be interesting next couple weeks. I mean, Trump just pulled us out of the climate change accords, and yeah, I thought he couldn't get any dumber, but I guess I should have saw that one coming, considering he's very anti-climate change discussion type of stuff. And I don't think he even understands why. But ignoring that, because I prefer not to talk about politics on things, I just felt like mentioning because it's not politically based. It's actually just flat out stupid. Um, Anyways, we're gonna get into working on ICBM and stuff again. I did work more on the plate generator. I found out there was quite a few issues with it. I had to redesign the power node system real quick. So previously we were extending just tile node and we were putting power code onto our pressure plate, and it worked. We were making power. It was just generating power. So you stepped on it, it just continuously generated power. It was failing to detect if we had stepped off of it, or you stepped on it again. So as long as nothing was on it, and something had stepped on it or something like that, I forget exactly how it was going because I did this at 2 or 3 in the morning when I was half asleep, and it's fixed. On top of that, I fixed some connection problems. I fixed some output power problems. There's some error detection here if the fill doesn't match each other. I'll probably remove this actually. You know what? I'm going to do engine dot running as dev so that doesn't show up. There's now ability to right click and detect how much power is stored in there. It now disables input on its power connections. I developed a wrapper system for the buffer, so now there is a wrapper per side of the tile, and you can configure input and output with it and keep track of the connection. So it knows who it's connected to when it's connected. That way it better can function and stuff. And this takes care of, we used to have a connection map built into the older tiles. This is exactly the same thing. I'll probably keep working on it over time. After all, we want to do things like keep track of inventory connections too. So there's a lot more code that needs to be implemented in here. Other than that, there hasn't been much more that's changed in here, so this functions pretty well now. It puts power to the energy cubes without the energy cube trying to give it back power now, which is what I originally started doing, and then I realized there was something wrong with the tile after I fixed that part. So that's been fixed. The pressure plate power engine is now fully functional. It's more than likely going to be released sometime in the next couple weeks. I don't have a plan. It's just going to be released whenever I feel comfortable with releasing it. It shouldn't be long because the only other thing I really want to do with this before I go ahead and release it is balance out the power output on the cube and then put wires into the mod. After that, I can go ahead and release it because at that point it's a usable mod. And then I can just slowly over time add more and more stuff. The plan is to add some energy buffers to this, add some energy splitters, regulators. What else we got here? Transformers. The transformers will act as converters too, so you'll be able to go from IC2 to UE to RF and stuff like that. It'll just be a way to manually do it. How the splitter is going to work is it'll guarantee that half your power goes one way, half your power goes the other way. Regulator is the same concept, except it's designed to, instead of splitting it, it's designed to regulate how much power goes out each side without keeping it itself. So what it is just a glorified redirect, but it prevents. You can basically say I only want 1,000 watts of power to go down this line. Then your buffer is just it's a battery that has a limited output on it, so it'll store 100 watts, but then will only let 100 watts go out of the machine or something like that. That way you can guarantee that, say this section of your base has power, but you don't want to store like 1,000,000 joules of power over there, and it'll be configurable buffer size, and it'll have configurable output. And there'll be some tiering involved in this because I do plan to mesh this with the Basic Industries mod. And for those who haven't seen Twitter, I've been talking about my plans for Basic Industries, and we're going to go towards a different direction. The plan with Basic Industries was originally to build a highly simplistic small mod that was focused entirely on modular machine design. That's still going to be sort of the case, except we're taking the small part out. It's now going to be a much larger mod, and it's going to add in a lot more content than originally planned. So we're going to be going with a tech progression system. So there's going to be simplistic IC2 style machines and thermal expansion style machines in the mod now. The reason for do this is I was originally going to create a mod that helped bridge the gap between people who are familiar with IC2 and thermal expansion machines but aren't familiar with anything more complicated, in order to allow them to slowly understand the concepts I'm adding to the mod and then slowly get their way into the modular machines. After all, you take something like Engineer's Toolbox, and almost nobody knows how to use that mod, even though that's exactly what we're heading for with modular machines style, except we're not doing the per side thing like they are doing. That's their own thing. We're doing machine core, so your machine's only going to have one machine inside of it, and then you're going to have a whole bunch of components you can swap out to improve your functionality in your machine. And then there will be some sided behavior for things like power connections, pipes, inventory, various other things. I can show the mod real quick if I remember to. I think I've got it in the environment here. I can show some of the functionality, but we're going to put basic machines in there. So what you'll do is you'll start off with vanilla content. You'll move from vanilla content into slightly improved vanilla content, so you know, like the iron furnace from IC2. From there, you'll start to move into better machines on that. Once you'll start to move into automated machines, gear-powered machines, like friction heaters and stuff like that. By the way, this does work. So you see I got power in here, no power in here. I step on it. Power just now transferred out to there, and it'll eventually transfer. I don't know what's with it. It doesn't like to transfer that last 2 joules. It eventually will, though. But that works. I'm going to go ahead and butcher all the zombies around me. Okay, so let's see if I can find the basic industries mod before I forget. If I remember what it looks like. I don't think I've got it in here. Yeah, it's not in here. Oh well. Yeah, it's going to get annoying if I don't fix it. But the main thing is we want to go ahead and test a lot of the ICBM-Classic machinery. I do want to try to get a release out today for both it and the ICBM version. Now, I know ICBM itself is pretty stable. I've been testing it almost nonstop the last couple weeks. It functions. I haven't found any new bugs. So anything that ends up being bug related is more likely a mismatch of versions. I noticed a couple of the bug reports I've gotten the last few days have been mismatched versions. So I'll probably go through this one more time on a server, and I'll probably set up a dedicated server as soon as I can. I'm getting closer and closer to getting enough of content done that we might be able to actually set the Vault server up. It is going to just be a free-for-all server. It's going to be unmoderated, so don't even ask for anybody to sit in there and give you a protected zone or anything. If you can't run away from the spawn point fast enough, well, apologies. Actually, I'll probably try to find a way to do a randomized spawn system, so don't fear too much. I'll figure it out later. Anyways, let's go ahead and set up some content here. So we've got several tiers of launchers to test. I am not going to fix the graphics bugs today. That's just, I don't want to even know what's even wrong with them, to be honest. There's something weird going on, and I mean, because the stupid thing is, you notice how it fails in only the inventory slot? Actually, you know what? I gotta fix this. This is gonna drive me nuts. So let's go ahead and track down ICBM-Classic here. This is definitely gonna be in the render section. Actually, you know what? This is probably inside of the content folder. So this would be machines, launcher, frame, and here we go, frame. The dumb thing is it's only bothering one tile. Now, if I saw it on all the tiles, I would assume it's some kind of rendering bug on the code, but it's only affecting this one tile. And it looks like it's a texturing problem, but at the same time it doesn't. Hold on, let's hit Windows Plus here. It's so strange because you look at it and the frame is there. So I can see the crisscrossed frame. And I can see the struts in the back. So what is this green cube thing? Green, blue, red cube thing in the middle? Is there something part of this texture that isn't normally there? I forget how to close this. What if you plus again to it? No, that just zooms in. Yeah, you can close it. There's got to be a hotkey for closing it. I'll have to figure it out. But yeah, see, it doesn't affect anything in the other modes. It seems to render a little weird, but that's vanilla code for you. It renders perfectly fine in here, and then yeah, you can see how while I'm talking about where it renders weird, you can see through the sides here. You know what? That actually may be what's going wrong. Is there may be a double render inside here, so that way the frame looks solid. And this is where I really need my texture guy to get me new models and stuff. Is because there actually is a need for them because a lot of these models are outdated and they need to be cleaned up. Especially with Z-fighting. You see this one where you got that little flickering that's called Z-fighting? The easiest way to fix that is to actually make a proper model and stop making these little Technique models. These Technique models, at their time, were the best thing you could do to make models. So it's not anything against Calculavi for requesting Technique models. But we have object models now. Object models render really, really, really well and allow for a lot of diversity on the render. And I gotta be honest, every time I look at this model, I think these should be rotated to face that, because it feels like that's what should have been happening, and that's not what's happening right now. And I got no notes on the old version because, well, CalClubby didn't exactly give me notes. Let's go ahead and put some missiles in here. So yeah, we got some problems with rendering. I'm not gonna fix a lot of these. It just takes me too much time to fix render problems. Especially when they're this dumb. Overall, most of the models are rendering properly. A lot of these are object now. The ones that probably are failing are the ones that are not object. They're probably Techniques. That is more likely a Technique model. But you can usually tell which ones are the object ones because they usually render better. Not that they don't have Z-fighting on their own either, because my artist was a little lazy and didn't do what I told him to do. He's like, oh yeah, I'll update your models, and then he just basically cloned the Technique model into the object file and then exported it exactly as it was. I'm like, dude, I need you to kill the internal faces and stuff, so that way we actually do get a render bonus. But I mean, at least they render properly, so I can't really complain. Camouflage block is not rendering in the inventory. Is it rendering in the world? Yeah, it's rendering in the world. That's fine. Let's see if I can fix the inventory render. It's probably an ISBR failure. So it'll be blocks. It'll be tile camouflage. Okay, so yeah, this is an example of where I'm using a non-standard render system, and I probably should standardize this a little bit more. Let's see, where is the render code? There's get icon from side, so the icons are here. There's an icon there. This is where I don't understand why it's failing to render in the inventory. Because it's entirely icon based. Or is it? Oh no, that's right. We went with a render static system, and when we did the render static, we told it to render as a normal block. This dot render item. No. Shoot. Okay, so let's go ahead and close this down, and then let's fix the camouflage render real quick. So, what is this render inventory? I just noticed this existed. And I don't know what it's called by. Shoot, we have a block render handler? I guess we could just go ahead and use that. I didn't even know we had this. That is some ancient code more than likely. But that'll work, because the alternative is I usually use an iSimple render, and it does the same exact thing. So as long as these two pieces of code function properly, it should work. I'm a little hesitant on this because, okay, I need render utility. I need to merge those two classes together. Render cube, and then I need a block. Probably do this, and we'll do an icon override. So it'll be this and then dot icon, or get block is what this is going to be. Okay, so we're going to try this. If this doesn't work, we'll switch to the other method, because the other method definitely will work. I do need to switch a lot of this stuff to JSON, especially things like the glass pressure plates. These are things that would more than definitely want to be JSON driven. They'd be real easy to set up. Although when it comes to being like JSON driven for some things like glass pressure plates, for example, it's going to end up being just a prefab inside of Vault's engine that just gets instantiated, because unfortunately I don't think I can mimic the button perfectly with the current listener system. I could try, but it would feel a little tedious. Because what you would do with the current listener system in order to mimic a button, for example, is you're just cloning the code that's in here anyways, and you'll just be rewriting it into your own methodology. So the reality of it is I could just do what I did with glass button here, override block button, and then just set it so I can change the texture, because that's all I'm really doing with this, is I'm creating a button that uses a glass texture. And then I think this doesn't have a texture at all when you go to look at it, so it's only got an item texture in the inventory, I believe. We'll check it out here, because that's how it's supposed to behave. Is you're supposed to have a transparent button you can't see in world, and then the item should be visible. If the item isn't visible, then we definitely need to fix that, because it's one thing to have an invisible item in the world. It's another thing to try to figure out where this item is in your inventory. You never want to break usability that way. Yeah, this is going to take a while to load. I forgot to take basic industry on the load. We'll have to grab that next thing if I remember correctly. That way we can go ahead and check that out, and I can show you the modular machines and kind of where I'm heading with it. The plan is to start working on it a lot heavier again, because I need machine mods for ICBM. Most people haven't probably thought this through very well, but there is a reason why the recipes are complicated in ICBM, but at the same time it's not meant to be hard. And the idea behind that was to take a mod like Basic Industries, which has been in the planning for years, and make machinery in there that's designed to build the missile parts. So you'll have rolling machines that'll build your sheet metal plates. You would have riveting machines that would put the sheet metal plates together for you. So you could fully automate the production line of missiles, and it would be really easy automation. It wouldn't be something very hard. It would be akin to playing Factorio. So you would just have machinery that you would run parts into, and parts would come out, and you would just run them down conveyor belts or tubes or whatever you want to use. I don't really care. And you would end up with a missile at the end, and you'd just load it into your launcher. You put it in your storage bunker or whatever. Storage bunker would be preferable, by the way. There is going to be a lot of changes to the missiles that if you're trying to store your missiles next to your launcher, they will probably explode. There's going to be a lot of little mechanics like that that'll be added to the ICBM, not the classic version. The classic version is going to stay exactly pretty much how it is. The only thing that's going to be changing in the classic version is I'm going to continue to improve functionality, and I'm going to probably rewrite the blast code to run better. And that's pretty much it. To be honest, I actually don't need to spend a huge amount of time rewriting the blast code, and yay! I broke things. It renders in my inventory though. It's off by a pixel. How about I didn't want to do that. How about it in world? It's not centered in world. Okay, so let's go take a look at this render method that we're using. So this clearly isn't set up properly at all. I mean, this whole class is pretty much that way. It's really simplified, and yeah. I mean, it'll work for the moment. I'll have to realign it, but why did this break? We didn't change any code at all, and all suddenly we went from render static working to not working. Okay, we rendered something. Some kind of standard block just got rendered. Let's take a look at block error is what we're mimicking. Okay. I don't even know how. Is that like the prefab or no? It's not. There's not even default. How did you get set to error? I'm just gonna hit play here real quick, and I'm gonna break all these because I think they got corrupted. Okay, they look good. Let's go ahead and save and quit, and then load back in and see if they kept their save files. Yeah, they look fine. I don't know what happened to them. We need to replicate it though. So I want to assume because I clicked on it with a camouflage block earlier that that's what broke it. So we'll go ahead and reload. I don't think that was it though. I think I do know what's wrong though. It's the save system. I need to go figure out where it's saving it. Okay, so block to mimic doesn't equal null. We're writing it. And then we're reading. Get string block to mimic. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to go, okay, if nbt.hasKey, and we go block to mimic. There we go. That should do the trick. Because what's happening is it's loading a null value out of the string system, although it should really crash, to be honest, when it does that. And then that's causing it problems. So we can replicate this. So we go like this. Now it wasn't I clicked it that caused this problem. It's the fact that it saved without anything in its system, and I'm surprised I didn't catch this before now. Yeah, it's fixed now. Okay, we need to test a few other things like glass blocks. Yep, that works. Glass blocks are perfect on the system. I can't think of what else we could really test on this. If grass works, everything will work, pretty much. That's a good indicator. If you're making a camo block like this, pretty much anything and everything will work once you get grass blocks working. Oh, well, we found that an ore doesn't work, though. Copper ore. It's probably a metadata issue. Okay, let me place this. I want to debug it. Ah, it's just a simple block. Gravel ore, and then, okay, let's see what we've messed up on the texture system. You know what? Hold on. Let's do this real quick. 1, 2, 3. This is a good way to test to see if it's a tinker's problem or if it actually is a problem with the camo block. Where are the wool blocks at? Yep, it's a metadata problem. Okay. So yeah, those should all be different colors. I don't remember if we implemented metadata or not. It's a really obvious problem. So render standard block. So we got that, no indication for metadata. That's actually a problem. We got a wrapper. We got a block wrapper. We could make the block wrapper do metadata. So let's take a look at render standard block. And it's got some lighting FUDA stuff it does. So we'll just pick one and go with it. XYZ RGB. And it's going to at some point get the textures from here. And what we need to do is we need to adjust our block wrapper, but I got to see how this behaves. So here's render face, and then we're gonna do something here. I'm thinking that's a side right there. Oh yeah, get block icon. That's gonna be something world XYZ side, I think. Block, and then yeah, get icon safe, get icon. It's gonna get the block metadata. So what we want to do is we want to enforce our block metadata on our wrapper. So this means we are going to have to save and quit. The reason we're using a block wrapper for this is because you're not going to be able to get the metadata back properly. So we need to get metadata in here. So it'll be public final int meta. Int meta, and it'll be this dot meta equals meta. And we're going to rename this to real meta. No, don't change the parameter. That way I can just get rid of that real quick. And then we want to get icon. So there's a get icon from world system here going on. This isn't going to work. So what we want to do is we want to call this method. And we want to I need a system here. I want the super method, that's what I want. Okay, so that's side and then metadata. That's what I wanted to figure out, which one of those was metadata. So this one's the metadata, so side then meta. So we want to pass the meta here. Real meta. What are we using metadata for in the camo block? I have a simpler solution. What are we using metadata for? Get icon, register icon, right click, color, multiply. We aren't using metadata for anything. So what I think we can do to simplify this even further, and let me go ahead and undo what we just did here, because we're going to have some problems with certain block types. And when I mean this is, there are blocks that do almost all of their operations off of that world call. So let me go find that world call again. So right here, so this is, a lot of blocks actually do use this, a lot of modded ones at least. A lot of the vanilla ones just flat out use this one because this one's what you're supposed to use. This one does call this one, but what somebody may decide to do is go, oh yeah, this is going to get called no matter what, so let's go ahead and use this for all of our complicated renders, change our render based on our world location and view of various other things. So in order to make this work, what I'm suggesting is we can go ahead and change our metadata value on our block itself because we're not using it for anything. And unfortunately, my dog behind me is trying to get my attention. Okay. Oh, wow. Un momento. Okay, hopefully that was no problemo. My dog just wanted to go outside and bake in the sun. Fortunately, she hasn't learned quite yet that I'm the master and she's the pet, even though I've had this dog for like 10 years, so she still thinks she can boss everybody around. But I don't blame her. I don't think she actually understands that what she's doing is annoying or anything else. But whatever, let her out in the sun, and then she can get baked for the remaining couple minutes of my video here. I'm almost done. I'm actually going to probably cut this after we fix this problem, just for the simple reason that I got to go do a few other things here. So yeah, let's go ahead and set the metadata. I just got to find the spot where we're setting everything, because it's been a while since I've been in here. Yeah, here we go, set block to mimic. So what we can do is just set the metadata real quick. So we got the mimic metadata already. And then what we want to do is server side. Actually, we just do this both sides. There's a way to update metadata. Can I update metadata? Set meta. There's a set meta value. Meta to mimic. That'll work. I think set meta runs the set block metadata with notification. That should do the trick. Hopefully that gives us our correction. And let me close a few of these. I can't see why that wouldn't work. Worst case scenario, this causes a few minor issues, but we tick the re-render of the world anyways, so it's not like it's a bad thing. Yeah, we'll be fine. Speaking of things that are fine, I'm still running a virus scan on my computer. This thing's been running for almost 12 hours now. It tells you just how much stuff is on this computer. But I've been having a recent issue with a command prompt window that pops open, does something, and then disappears before I can even realize it's even there. And I haven't figured out what's causing it. I've been through my entire computer looking at startup apps, looking at various other things, looking at services. The leading theory is that it's this stupid install broker that pops up. If I can find it real quick. Okay, install broker is this here. But there's like this install broker that's part of the Windows Store. And if you ever see install broker pop up in here, the way you fix it is you go to the store, then go to apps, and then cancel updates, and then it fixes itself. Because what it's trying to do is notify you of updates here. The other leading theory is it's these Java things that keep popping up. I think something's starting them up. But these disappear usually when I close IntelliJ, so I think they're part of IntelliJ. They're just some kind of background process that should not be running on its own. Other than that, man, there's like nothing else in here, but there's these console windows that keep popping up here. And I don't know if these are what I'm seeing or these are something else, but you can't just click these and you can't just figure out what they're doing. Because if you hit open file location, it goes to the Windows system, and I can't figure out what's running this, and I'm tempted to do this and go make an exe that calls the normal exe, and then change the name, and then anything that's calling the command prompt will call my fake app instead of the real one, and then I can tell my fake app to go ahead and just log what's calling you, and then run the normal one. That way I can figure out what the hell is going on, because it's caused me a few problems recently. I've been playing things like MechWarrior, for example, and also the command window will pop up, take priority over my thing, and I'll miss like 5 or 6 shots in the game, and those 5 or 6 shots actually do matter for somebody who's DPS driven. For those who don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to DPS driven, a lot of people in MechWarrior play with alpha builds, which means they're designed to poke you with high damage in a really short period of time. I play the other style, which is to continuously lay fire onto you until you die, pretty much. Which means I do really low damage, but I do damage continuously, and it's how I kill people. It's actually got me several multi-thousand point matches, so it's a really good design build system, but unfortunately if you start missing shots, then your opponent can get enough time to get shots back in on you. I actually have a post on Twitter that actually shows it. It's the Flakmaster is the one I'm talking about. It's got 4 LB 2 AC2s. For those who don't know what those are, it's basically a 20mm shotgun shell, and it fires really, really quickly, and it hits the enemy mech, and it just rattles their mech repeatedly. It does 2 damage. That's the reason why it's called an AC2. So it does really low damage compared to like lasers, which do like 10 damage. So I can be hit by 4 lasers and almost completely killed, but my same volley on that guy I only do 8 damage because I only got 4 of these things, plus my 2 pulse lasers, but I usually rarely use them. So I can get upward, I think, 14 damage in one hit. but most people can get like 40 to 60 in one hit. And my average mech's torso for a medium mech, which is what I run, is about under 60. So a single laser hit to my torso will kill me, which really sucks too, because I love playing medium mechs and I really don't like playing heavies in assault mechs because they're just too big and cumbersome. Plus, you have to change your mentality from skirmish, which I really enjoy, to being a tank. And this didn't fix anything. Okay, so... Oh, no, wait. It's not going to fix anything because we have to reset it. There we go. So the metadata isn't reset, and that'll work just fine. I don't need to make any correction code to reset metadata for you. Okay, there is a block check that needs to be fixed. The meta should be the same. Because I understand that one. By the way, I need to cancel the right clicks on this shit. Where is my right click code? It's down here. Blarg. I'm just gonna accept all right clicks. I don't know why we're not. Same block. Okay, so you can shift right click to get out of this. Why isn't this working? Okay, so there's something weird with this. So where's same block at? Same block is called from this loop. Okay, if block doesn't equal block render type and block doesn't equal get block type, we failed to do a meta check. So we need to do meta. And there's actually a way to do this. So for starters, what we want to do is we want to go, okay, if no, we already know we're a block. So we know we're then an item block from here. Oh yeah, these are all running as devs, so none of these checks will even pop up for you. They just won't work. I didn't even realize it was a thing. So yeah, we just need a meta check here. So if meta doesn't equal block meta to mimic, and then we want to put that into a curly bracket here. Actually, we also want to, yeah, we would do that because we want either or of these to run, and then we want to make sure we're not a camo block. So you can't be camo blocked. Actually, let's run the camo block check higher up so I can give a different error message for this. And then what we can do with this camo check is we can then run later a band render block check. So there's blocks you can't turn into camo blocks. We need to move this to there. I'm going to put that back there though because I'm just going to recycle that. And then we'll go, okay, can't be used as a camo block. Can be used as camo, maybe? Camouflage. I cannot spell today. Let's go up here and copy this. Supposedly that's spelled correctly. I'm just going to trust it is, because, well, last time I tried to spell the word camouflage is pretty much never. I doubt people even recognize the word because just... Yeah, hold on, let's Google this to make sure I'm even using the right word. Because I just use camo. I use the 4-word abbreviation for it, 4-letter abbreviation.
Camouflage.
That sounds so weird to the last part. Fudge. Ah, well, whatever. Camo block set to, okay, so change a few of these. The reason why a lot of these are running as dev mode information is because when somebody's working on setting up camouflage, they don't want stuff being spammed into their chat. And I don't have a config system to kind of just give you a chat message once or give you a chat message twice or something, or even just allow you to turn the messages on and off, so we're just kind of going with whatever at the moment. Anyways, this should work now, so I should be able to reset the metadata. Why didn't you re-render then? Okay, you re-rendered. You didn't. Okay, there you go. Yeah, it's a slight packet delay, it looks like, on some of the stuff. Yeah, there's a slight render delay. I think I know how to fix that. So when we go to set our render block, okay, so when we go to set this, I need to do is grab this, and I need to set it to not re-render the block. So I need to set to 0. If I remember correctly, that should be what that is. Flag, so flag C block, set block for description. Well, yeah, you're very useful, Forge. So flag 4 prevents the block from being re-rendered. If this is client world, flag can be added together. Flag 1 will cause the block to update. Flag 2 will send the changes to the client. So I want flag 2. Flag 4 prevents the thing from re-rendering. I want this one. The reason I want this one is I need this packet to go to the client. Maybe. Sort of. Something's weird. It's supposed to re-render client side, but whatever. It's not working properly. You're getting that flicker. That flicker tells me something's wrong. Oh, yeah, now you're just flat out not working. Okay, so do that. Okay, so we're gonna want to send this stuff to the client. And we're gonna have that flicker there. It's just, I'm not gonna be able to do anything about it right now because it's gonna probably take me a bit of toying around with the code to figure out what's up with it. I mean, I could set up my packet system to send the metadata to the client and then set the metadata client side, but I kind of just want to let the server do that stuff. But there's gotta be a way to do it. Either way, the metadata is fixed now, so we've done that. So I'm going to go ahead and close this video out, and I'll be back with another video here shortly.